Why does God allow pain and suffering? Why doesn't God heal cancer patients? Or why doesn't God feed starving kids in Africa? In this video, we're going to be taking a look at some of these questions and more. So I wanted to share with you that this is actually part 2 of a series that I'm doing about why God allows suffering. So if you haven't watched video number 1 yet, feel free to check it out. It'll be in the YouTube description, or also I'll be sharing it on my blog. So we're taking a look today about, hey, why doesn't God heal cancer patients, or help the starving kids in Africa, or help you and I out sometimes in these certain situations that happen to us in life? And a lot of times, people in the world say, hey, you know what? If God really existed, then surely he would, stop the wars that are happening, the genocide that's happening, or bad things from happening. And the problem with that is that people end up really blaming God or saying, hey, because God doesn't put an end to these things, then surely he doesn't exist. And they end up reaching faulty conclusions about God. How do I know this? I know this because I personally made that mistake. Okay, I grew up as a Christian, and I grew up in a Christian home. And when I was in high school, some bad things happened to my family, and I asked God to stop them, to reverse them, or to help us out. And at that point, I didn't really see God doing anything or answering my prayers. And so I ended up reaching a faulty conclusion, thinking that, hey, because God didn't change the situation or help me out the way I wanted him to help me out, then surely God does not exist. And I ended up being an atheist for about 8 years. And I share about my journey and about my story on my blog. So if you're interested in reading the story, there's going to be a link in the YouTube description or on my blog to my story that tells you about what happened to me exactly. But going back to my topic today about why is it that God allows pain and suffering, and for today I only want to share this one specific point, and that is, it isn't up to you and me how God acts or reacts to events that happen in your life, in my life, and in the world. Okay? So let me explain a little bit further about what I mean. We were created in God's image, and a part of that image is that we have free choice, or we have free will. And so when it comes to choices that God can make, okay, when it comes to events that happen to you and I in our lives, he has 3 choices. So choice number 1 is that God can start something to happen, okay? So for example, let's say that you're broke and you don't have enough money for the rent. God puts it on a friend of yours' heart to give you money for this month's rent, okay? God started something to happen in your life. That would be wonderful, right? And then the second choice that God can make is that God can stop something from happening in your life. For example, God knows that if you leave to work today at 8 a.m. like you usually do, then there's a drunk driver that's going to be on the street, and he's going to hit your car and you're going to be badly hurt. So what does God do? He ends up making your car battery go dead so that you don't have to get on the car, and you're delayed from getting to work at your regular time. So what did God do? God stopped something from happening, okay? And then after that, option number 3, or choice number 3 that God has, is that God can allow something to happen to you. And that is, let's say a guy, we'll just call him Joe Loser at your work, is spreading complete lies about you and just making stuff up, okay? And the lies don't stop, and people are believing this gossip and the lies that he's spreading, okay? And God isn't doing anything to stop that. What is happening? God is allowing this guy to spread lies about you because he's going to use it in your life somehow and to build up godly character, okay? So as you can see, God has 3 choices when it comes to matters and events in your life, in my life, and in the world. He can start something from happening, he can stop something from happening, and he can allow things to happen. And so just because God allows certain things to happen, it doesn't mean that he doesn't exist, or it doesn't mean that it has any kind of significance as to what are the choices that he makes. Okay, and that leads me to this one Bible verse that has become my life verse that I wanted to share with you today. And it's from Isaiah 55. And this is what it says. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. I love this verse because really what it boils down to is that so many times when we see things happening around the world, we end up blaming God, but really we have no idea what God is up to. And God is doing a work, and He's a lot of times doing something wonderful that we just have no idea about. So instead of doubting God's goodness, we really need to put our trust in God's faithfulness, because really He's always going to come through for us. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, then go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Or you can also become a subscriber on my blog. I have a free guide to getting thousands of Twitter followers that you can sign up for, and some other resources. You can check out the links. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.